What branch?
Army, like your dad.
Oh, cool.
And my parents survived the Holocaust.
Oh, hang on, are you live yet?
It just clicked. I just
Okay.
clicked go live.
Are you full screen or both of us?
Don't know yet. I'm waiting for it to say it's live. Okay, now I'm back. We're split screen.
All righty, there we go. So you were just saying you were part of the Army as well?
I was in the Army from 73 to 76. So, and my parents, they were over in Europe during World War II. Where was your dad stationed?
My dad was in Europe. He was in Japan part of the time, in the Aleutian Islands. He went all over Europe, but I'm not exactly sure all the different places he went. But
well, I could talk for hours about the military and.
Yeah. I still have his Eisenhower jacket. I was gonna go get it, but it's cool. It's with the 3rd Army logo on it and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. 3rd Armored Division?
Third Army, you know, the 3rd Army.
I think that's the same patch I had when I was over there. 3rd Armored
there you
Division.
Go. Cool.
I'd love to see the jacket.
All right. Well, hold on a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes. She's gonna go get a military jacket that her father, who was a nurse, he called himself a male nurse. Her father wore in World War II. So special. And if it's the same Army patch that I had, I'm going to lose it. I was in the 3rd Armored Division.
So there you go. I can't
look at that color. They don't have. That's mine.
Yeah.
Yes. He was airborne?
No,
Oh, okay.
He was not. He was the medic thing. So I can't see on my screen.
It.
You can see. But is that the same division you were in? 3rd Army?
No, it's a different patch, but.
Well, it's also older too.
Yes, it's khaki brown, greenish brown. So you, so now you're doing a show, your comedy chat live. What gave you the inspiration to do that? Because you've been in improv and headlining for over 20 years in Massachusetts, been around the world. And now, was it the pandemic that made you decide to do it? To me, it's late night television during the day. It's that good. And I think you should be a late night host out of it. I think that's what should come your way.
Well, you know what though? I'm trying to get people moving. This all is like, this was a combination of just what can I do now that I can't do anything, right? So in 2008, I think 2010, I did a show on After Ellen, the website called Walking Funny. And what it was I would interview people, but instead of just sitting down and chatting like we are now, I would take a walk with them and we would interview them while we walked. And I was encouraging the viewer to download and walk along with us, which I don't think anyone ever did, but that was the point. It was to get people moving. I have a degree in exercise science. I've always played sports. You know, I played women's football when I got out here. What sports does for me, what physical movement and exercise does for me is so mainly mental. You know what I mean? Yes, it's kept me in shape, but it's mainly a mental thing, and it's such a relief. And it just could bring. We've become so sedentary, and whether it's high blood pressure medicines or heart medicines or other things, you could really do a lot just by getting yourself physically moving. So that was the goal of the show back then, the Walking Funny show. And I did it myself for, I think I did 55 episodes, but it just got to be a little expensive and it was just too hard. I wasn't getting any income from it back. So, and then my cameraman moved to New Orleans. So, so when the pandemic hit, I always still liked that show. The idea of the show came to me. It was supposed to be kind of a travel show where, and I came up with this idea before Dave Attell's show, where Dave Attell used to do his comedy set and then he would walk around after dark in the city. Well, my idea was to show the city, to show because what's what I would do when I would travel, when I would be on the road. I'd go and I'd walk places and I would find good places to walk and I would find out about the city and then I could talk about it later that night on stage. So that was the idea for my show. It later became Walking Funny. And then, like I said, I put that down. And then when the pandemic hit, we have a green screen, we've got the cameras, we've got everything here that we needed, and we had the system to stream it with. So I just started, initially my partner was still working, so I was doing them all my own. They were like they were a contagion. There was all kind of snafus going on in each episode, but it was still really fun to do. And it became what it is now, which is, and we're trying to, kind of uplift people's mind, body, and spirit. So we give them a monologue at the beginning or something funny at the beginning, and then an interesting chat with somebody. And then at the end, again, like right now, I know you're thinking, Jennie, are you at Cher's house? Yes, I am, because Cher and I are really good friends. Or perhaps it's a green screen. I'm not sure. But anyway, so we put the beach up there, and it's a nice photo of the beach. You can watch the waves rolling in, and then we take a walk together. And during that last segment, this month it is all about Black History Month. So we're featuring a lot of really cool, primarily women, but men too, but featuring African Americans that have done really amazing things. So that last segment is just getting people up and moving. And what you will, anybody in any gym, in any city, in any country, in any land, if you ask them what's the hardest part of your workout, they will all tell you it's getting there. It's getting yourself up and motivated. And once you get your ass to the gym, you can work out. So that's kind of what I'm doing, is just getting people up. Just get up off of your chair, just walk with me for just 5 minutes. And then I encourage them after we sign off to just don't sit down now, just keep moving for another 15 minutes. So we've got a couple of people walking that walk with us every day. So that's kind of fun. And, people are starting to chat with one another. I've got a little group Facebook page that we have post stuff in later that they can chat in. So it's a show we're trying to be positive, and it was a lot. I'm not going to lie. My partner's influence on this has been great, because I was, Trump, Trump, Trump. And she's like, lay off. We're tired of hearing of him. So it was a lot of Trump in the monologue. But then, the end part, once we leave the monologue part, it's more positivity. And honestly, since that buffoon is gone, we're really sort of bagging out, because I was never a political comedian to begin with. It was, for me, it's always sports and whatever else. Occasionally a Kardashian bashing, because you have to. You lose your comedic license if you don't do a Kardashian joke every now and again. So, you know what? We're just trying to make the show be something positive in people's day that will get them uplifted. I'm plant-based. We're really trying to hit the plant-based message home in a way that doesn't turn people off, because I came to a plant-based lifestyle because I heard about the horrible things they were doing to animals. But you can't just go, look at what they do to animals. People are going to go, I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to be a vegan. Get away from me, right? So my whole thing is, okay, fine. Let's come at this a nicer way then. Look at all the good things about eating better. Look at all the good things about your health. Look at all the good things about the environment. Because honestly, I came to the plant-based diet because of the animals. I was at a show. I was doing a show for these people that went in and spoke to high schools. And I knew the woman that owned the company. And so I did the show, and she's like, you really should do this when you're home. At the time, I was a vegetarian. I still ate dairy and eggs and some fish. And I said, but would I have to be a vegan? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, all right, let me give it a whirl and see if I could do it. So this was December. So in January, I tried giving up meat. And for me, it was really easy. And I understand that that's not true for everyone. So I get that too. It's not an easy switch to make. For me, it was. But once I learned, when I started teaching, or not teaching, but going in schools and speaking in schools, when I learned the environmental impact that the modern farming and modern agriculture, in addition to, you have no idea the horrible way these animals are treated, even the grass-fed or the cage-free, it's all kind of bullshit. It's all misleading labeling. And but again, these aren't the ways to get people, it's kind of like, it's horrible, it's mean, it's awful. Come in. No one wants to join that party. No one wants to be that, right? So I'm trying to come at it like today, it's the year of the ox. So I used a clip from Game Changers where Patrick Bahubian, who's the world's strongest man, and he's got a great quote in there. He's like, he's huge. And he's lifted 1,280 pounds on this yoke, and he carried it. It felt like it was a world record. And he goes, people always ask me, how can you be as strong as an ox without eating meat? And I tell them, have you ever seen an ox eating meat? So I showed that clip today because it's the year of the ox. So I'm trying to just kind of, show people this different lifestyle, because it really is, we just can't go on farming the way we're farming now. And there's so many, there's just so much you could do with plants and plant-based living. And it's getting there. It's just slow.
Yes. What else are you passionate about? So that you'd like to speak on?
For me, just exercise and the influence that it has in people's lives. And we've become so sedentary, when you and I were kids, we were the remote control, right? Get up and turn off the TV. So it's like now everything is so, now it's like, Alexa, turn on my music, right? And it's so, we don't do anything anymore. And the physical sensation of physically doing something, the sensation afterwards is so rewarding that if people would just get into that, it would really change their lives and make a positive impact. And education, because it's something no one can ever take away from you, right? You can't, you can forget things, I suppose, but it's education and exercise are just super important to me.
And since you have an exercise science degree, you probably can speak to the fact that when you exercise, your metabolism keeps your body burning calories for X period of time after that.
Absolutely. Yeah. For aerobic exercise, yeah, it's a thermo, and you will continue to burn calories afterwards. And also if you do weight training and you don't have to, don't worry, especially if you're a woman out there, you're never, unless you take steroids, you're not going to get really huge like that. We're not built that way, but you can get bigger muscles. You can become leaner. You can become, the more muscle mass you have, muscle is an active tissue. It's going to burn more calories as well. So just having more muscle mass, you're going to burn more calories throughout the day. And, it's everything in moderation. It's like the keto diet, which, back in our day was the Atkins diet, and then it was the South Beach diet. And now it's the same thing about just cramming yourself full of protein. Everything in moderation is what you need to do, except the meats and the dairies. If you can cut them out, You'll be happier.
Yeah. So what is something, did you want to speak to the fact that you write or you have written for the Lesbian magazine, and how people in this country, how far have we come with treating others equally in the LGBTQ community? How did you want to speak to that, Jennie?
I was in the closet. I did not come out till I was 37 years of age. And part of that was because I didn't see me. The only people we saw growing up were psychotic lesbians or, over the top, super effeminate gay men. And I wasn't, a crazy, mean, psycho lesbian, and I wasn't attracted to that. So I thought, I can't be gay. If that's what gay is, I'm not gay. So I think now now gay isn't even a thing. We have so many darn letters, GQI, whatever. So it's, on one hand, it's amazing. And there's so many role models for kids out there and role models for people out there. There are people that are 50 and 60 years old that have never been able to come out, maybe because of their children. They didn't want to come out because of their kids. And it's for them to come out and to finally be who you are. And the difference in the way you feel when it sounds so like airy fairy. Oh my God, you got to be your authentic self. You just have to be authentic. And it sounds stupid and airy fairy, but you know what? There's really something to being your authentic self and really being who you are and owning that and not being afraid of that is so great. So we have made huge strides, and I think it's wonderful. There's still going to be, if that last election taught us nothing, it's that we've got a ways to go in a lot of areas. But we're getting there. And I really, really sincerely hope that, the Black Lives Matter movement continues and because it's so many times in the past, horrible things have happened and we all get outraged and then it dies down. And I really think this time, the way the NBA stepped up, they were just like, amazing in the way they went about their business and the bubble and the whole thing. And it was awesome in the way they dealt with COVID. It was awesome in the way they dealt with the uprisings in the summer. And I think we can learn a lot from them. And I think we just need to keep putting the message out there and keep putting the message out there. And when people say, people are mad about cancel culture. It's not just cancel culture. It's actions having ramifications. If you do stuff, you've got to pay the piper. You can't just say and do hurtful things anymore, especially with this new medium where you can just hide in your room and say ugly things about people. And you don't have the things, you don't have the balls to say to them or the ovaries and to say to them to their face. you can say hiding behind your keyboard. So I think we need to remain diligent, because there's still a long ways to go, but the strides are very impressive and very gratifying.
Awesome. What would you like to say in the next 3 to 10 minutes as a closing wrap up about where you've come from, what you're doing, where you want followers, what inspiration you want to give to people individually listening? I'll give you the floor for up to 10 minutes to just do your own wrap up.
My answers are so long. You're like, I'm going to give you 10 minutes because you can't keep this shit tight.
No, it's because you're so interesting and I love you.
What do I want to do with, like I said, with my show? I want to try to get people moving. I want to try to get people feeling better. I'm going to try to get people more positive. We have got to come together. We can't be a divided country. And I think that, positivity is a really important thing. My mom always says, it's easy to be negative. It's easy to be depressed. And it's true. It's a lot harder to look at the bright side of things and try to stay positive. And physically, whether it's eating right and, eliminating, because it's, oh God, that stuff in the meat and the dairy is just hideous. So it's eating right. It's exercising. It's laughing. It's looking at positive things. I try to bring, people's positive works and feature people we might not know about that have done cool things. Because you know what, we can accomplish so much more. What we could do as a country. I mean, just look at what we're doing right now, Linda. What we can do with the computer and this, we're beaming this literally, it could be seen all over the world. And yet we've still got people starving in our country and kids starving in our country. So we've got so much work to do, but with positivity and with, loving one another and trying to just look past differences and that's what I'm trying to do with my show, is just to get people positive, to get people moving, and to get people watching and sponsoring. So if you've got cash out there and you would like to spread this positive message, contact me and let's get this show to the next level. Because as you know, it's so hard getting it out there, just getting the word out, getting the thing out there. So it's just, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing comedy forever and I love it and I don't want to give it up. And in a lot of ways, this virus of last year leveled the playing field for a lot of people. It's kind of made us all sort of sit back and take a look and reevaluate. People are going to be working differently now. People that maybe have gone to an office for the last 25 years are now going to continue to work from home. So things are changing, and we are at such a great place to just go and just be positive and go do what we as human beings are capable of doing. We're capable of doing amazing, wonderful things. We're also capable of being complete jerks. And we've got to stop being complete jerks. We've got to start looking at the positive things in life and if you just make yourself a better human being, and if everyone just did that, we're on. The whole golden rule, just do unto others, sounds so trite, but it's so basic. Just don't do shit you wouldn't want people doing to you, and we'll all be fine. And get up and move. That's my message.
So if somebody would like to step up to the plate and help sponsor your show, how do they get a hold of you to do that?
Well, you can hit me up here on this Facebook message. You can go to JennieMcNulty.com. You can send me an email, Jennie McNulty, Jennie_McNulty at Yahoo, because I'm 129 years old. Yeah, just hit me up and we'll I can make you a really good commercial too. I did some fun commercials with before.
Wow. So a sponsor would wind up getting a commercial blip.
If they want one, we can work it out. I got cameras, I got creativity. We can have some fun with it.
I love your show and I love you and I thank you for taking
Thank you
time
very much
for a 2-part interview, you guys.
Two-part. She talked so much. We couldn't get her to shut up, and the Facebook kicked her off. She was talking so much.
You inspire me. That was awesome.
Thank you.
It's easy to get sedentary when the world's kind of shut down and trying to reopen. It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It is. And all you got to do is get up. You can do so much in the house. Just getting up and moving around. You'll feel better.
Yeah, it's easy to stay positive when the world's giving you positive. But in the last year, the world's not given a lot of, this is the worst I've ever seen in my lifetime. How about you?
Yeah. Oh, without question. I mean, we have 500,000 people dying. You know, it's horrific. And you know, to those people, there isn't a silver lining. You know what I mean? We can say, well, there's a silver lining. We got these shows and whatever. But for 500,000 people, there's just no silver lining. It's awful. And for it's not just the 500,000 people that died. It's their family members and their friends and everyone that have lost. And we owe it to ourselves to not let this just be a shitty time in history. We need to take this shitty time in history, and do something with it and find the positive. And for the sake of those 500,000 people, look for the positive, because it's there. Sometimes it's harder to see, but you know, find positivity, find, you know, meditation, find whatever. Just keep looking to try to make yourself happy, because you can.
Yes. You know, you think that with a worldwide pandemic, that people would quit bitching with each other. You would think that would end it. But it's like, go to your rooms, like God's saying, okay, stay in your room then.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's all fear-based, right? We're afraid of the virus, but we're also afraid of everything. It's white men afraid of power is why we had Trump. White men afraid of losing power is why we had Trump. So it's just fear, and fear is just the ugliest thing ever. It comes out as, you know, insecurities in people, that they brag more, whatever, you know. So it's just try to not be afraid. We're all in the same boat together, and if we work together, we can paddle our way to a nicer place.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you've been a gem to come on and let me interview you to death.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Linda.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Anything you're going to regret not getting to talk about?
I won't think of that till we sign off. That's how that works, right?
Yes. In one sentence or less, how do you describe who you are today?
One sentence or less, huh? Okay. Let's see. I am a funny, hardworking person trying to bring a message of positivity and exercise, and do it with laughter.
You do that very well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for who you are.
Thank you. Right back at you, Linda.
Thank you, Jennie McNulty, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.